Track 2 of the Artificial Leaves EP. This song is called Brother You'll Be Okay by singer-songwriter James Yardis. As usual, I'm going to be taking you guys through the demo all the way to the finished master, and we're going to be looking at the entirety of the song, piece by piece, to quote Kelly Clarkson. Alright, so to start off, let's listen to the demo that James sent me.
I wanna meet a river, but what if I'm just a bank? Holding on to things that never bother to stay.
So here's what the beginning of the master sounds like.
You say I wanna be the river, but what if I'm just the bank?
Automatically a bigger sound due to the stereo guitars here. Just in case if y'all don't know how to get those stereo instrument sounds, let me go ahead and show you right click, right quick. So we had one guitar track initially, and what I did was copied that one guitar track so that there is now two guitar tracks, one right next to each other. Hard pan them left and right, and then make them to where they're around, let's see what I do here. They're around 15 milliseconds apart, 20 milliseconds, something along those lines. So that's how you get that stereo sound there. So now we have that all figured out. Let's listen on a little bit here to this song.
Just the bank. Holding on to things that never bother to stay. I wanna see the world, but I like this room. And that sun looks awfully nice, but I feel safe in this gloom.
You're probably asking what is going on with the compressor settings here. So let's walk through the compressor one by one, because I know it's been a minute since I've talked about the compressor. Input gain is the amount of the inputting signal that gets into the compressor. The more gain we put, the more of that signal will go into the compressor. Threshold is the signal that the audio signal needs to rise above for the compressor to actually turn on. Ratio is decibels in to decibels out. So for every 4 decibels into the compressor, 1 decibel will go out of the compressor above whatever the threshold is here. Attack, that is how quickly until the compressor starts working. Release is how quickly the compressor turns off after the sound dips back below the threshold. And output gain is the amount of the compressed signal gets added onto the sound afterwards. So the main knobs I focus on are input gain, threshold, ratio, and attack for this. Let's keep on going here.
Brother, please look up, please look at me.
And also, what a compressor is really good for is it is in charge of dynamics control, meaning controlling how loud versus how soft an audio signal is. Like, let's take a look at this waveform versus this waveform, for example. Way more energy in this waveform here than this one. But if you listen to it, let's solo this.
Brother, please look up. Promise you that ain't where you are. Brother, promise you that.
They're almost identical in volume, even though they look way different. The compressor is controlling the outputted signal here.
Brother, please look up. I promise you that ain't where you wanna be.
So before we keep going, let's listen to chorus 1 on this demo.
Brother, oh, you are.
Right here.
Leave me, I know you are haunted by the past. You ask me, say.
So in order to make this chorus already differ from the verse, we added drums, specifically kick and snare, so that drives the song rhythmically.
I know you are. You ask yourself, how freaking long is this gonna last?
There's a big difference between this part here
I promise you that you ask yourself.
the drums give it some pace. And what was fun about working with this track, when he came to me with this was the 4th song we had recorded. He said he wanted to, quote, add pizzazz to this one. So we decided, hey, how songs build, let's build the drums. So that's exactly what we did here. Let's go on, because once again, once verse 2 hits, a lot of changes happen.
Me, okay. You say I've opened it before, but I don't feel like the cut I made.
Okay, lots of things happened here that really made this section way bigger, especially from verse 1. Let's go ahead and let's listen to verse 1 again here.
You say I wanna be in the river, but opened it before, but I don't feel like.
It's a big difference, and let's explore why it's so different. So first of all, we have a lot of additions here. We have my harmony vocal going on top of his, along with the guitar tracks here.
Opened it before, but I don't feel like the cut I made.
Okay, I feel like we need to talk about these harmonies, for instance, just because there's a lot of jumping up and down I'm doing harmony-wise, and I'm going to tell you why I chose the harmonies that I chose. So, one important thing when you're singing background vocals or backing up a lead singer in any capacity is you want to figure out what resonances blend the best between you and the artist you're backing up. In this case, I'm backing up James. So, we realized early on both of our chest voices resonate really well together. And if you have a good indication of what your chest voice range is, which I do, you're then able to, that is the series of notes you have to choose from. And then you can choose your intervals from there, meaning third above, fifth above, third below, fifth below, octaves, those being your main 3. So I go from third below.
Opened it before, but I don't feel like the cut I made.
Because he was singing really low right there. He was singing, cut I made. So I could have gone to the third above that, cut I made. But when you're singing really low harmonies like that, you want to spread them out. So that's why I went to the fifth above instead of the third above right here.
Feel like the cut I made.
And then after that, I go back into the third below James.
To receive something as beautiful as amazing grace.
Alright, so now that we have the harmony vocals, we've talked about that a little bit. What else is going on here instrumentally? Alright, so let's actually mute. I'm going to mute these 2 tracks here, and let's see. Okay, so the drums don't start building until second chorus, so once second verse hits, we have these new elements.
You say I've opened it before, but I don't feel.
We have an organ here for warmth. And then a bass. Provides both the low end and the rhythm.
just can't help but feel like I'm the worst of them.
Okay, so let's go back to this harmony for a second, because something else interesting. So I keep switching intervals like I was saying earlier.
All have sinned.
That is a third below, and then I switch to the third above right here.
But I just can't help but feel like
Because this line, the worst of them, I wanted that to be bigger than the other words that I was singing harmony with. So in order to make one harmony sound bigger than the other without adding more people, you change the interval from below the main vocalist to above the main vocalist. Or if you're singing a fifth below, you would change to a third below.
I'm the worst of them.
Which ended up working out really well.
But all of that is dead and gone. Don't owe you anymore.
Same thing right here.
Honey, you won't be so sore.
The line "be so sore," I wanted that to be elevated more than the rest of the harmonies. So again, I went to the third above as opposed to singing right below him like I had been doing in the previous harmony choices. And now here's where the drums start getting built way more in this chorus here. Let's actually listen to the difference between chorus 2 here and chorus 1, because there's a big difference here.
Believe me, I know you are haunted by the past. Believe me, I know you are. Believe me, I know you are haunted by the past.
So the drums got way bigger. We added a hi-hat here and a tambourine. The hi-hat's panned on the right, I believe. Yep, tambourine panned on the left. Hi-hat's playing quarters, while the tambourine is playing eighths. And we also added a little Easter egg here. It was a sound we found on my keyboard. I still don't really have an idea what that sound is. I didn't even know what to call it when I was naming the track, so I literally just called it because that's literally the sound that it makes. I have no idea why, but he asked me, hey, do you think you could sneak this in there? So what I did was I tucked it inside of the snare when it hit. So in order to hear it, you kind of have to listen to it a couple times, and then you're like, oh, that's what that is.
By the past. You ask yourself, how freaking long is this gonna last? But tell me how you're supposed to get warm hiding in the shade.
Once again, from a harmony perspective, I go from the third below to the third above to finish off right here.
Just open up this book and brother, you'll be okay.
Everything fades out, and well, that's basically the song. Is there anything that I missed? Oh, I didn't really miss this, but there's still one thing that I want to talk about. This is a little mixing anecdote here. So when you're mixing bass or mixing low frequencies of any kind, what you want to do in order for the bass to come through in the mix,
Leave something
like you can hear it really clearly. What you want to do is some of your other elements of the song, like the vocal for example, you don't really need these frequencies down here, so just get rid of them.
As beautiful as amazing grace.
Because if you keep them there, that's just more low frequency information that is taking up where the bass and the kick drum are supposed to live. The organ, in this case, there's not much high end, not much low end going on there, so I cut some of that off. Just so the bass could have a better spot to live and breathe. Then, as for the percussion, nothing is really going on there because I wanted the kick to also occupy that same low end. I think I did something to the guitars too. I added a bit of low end to the guitar just so the guitars sounded different, because when you're dealing with guitars because for this song I believe you capoed, what was this? This was capoed 8, I believe it was. So I wanted to try and add a bit of low end in there because you aren't going to get any low end with a capoed 8 guitar. But yeah, that is track 2 of Artificial Leaves. Brother, you'll be okay. I'll be back with more with tracks 3, 4, and 5. Those are all really great as well. Until then, Mess J, signing off. See ya.